Priestess Jamila, and I wanted to come and have a quick discussion about magic versus the mundane actions that people take. Okay? So, magic is always going to trump the mundane. And the mundane, basically, if you guys want to know what that means, let me give you the exact definition of that. And I want people to understand this for future references, okay? So, mundane is basically an adjective that describes something very ordinary, unexciting, or routine. Often refers to the practical, sometimes boring details of everyday life, such as running errands or paying bills, or to earthly, worldly concerns rather than spiritual or heavenly ones. So that's basically what mundane means, okay? However, magic always has and always will help people with earthly matters, obviously, which is why a lot of people still do it. And even though there are a lot of people that believe that it is evil, um, I've actually had someone tell me before that, a group of men had the right to stalk and terrorize and sexually abuse and violate because that was God's punishment for me being a witch, which I didn't believe in that, but that's what I was told. And I think that religion, to me, even though it is an egregore that, has been fed for thousands of years, even if Jesus didn't exist or none of that stuff ever happened in the Bible, it would still have power because so many people believe in it, okay? But then again, when you look at witchcraft and magic, a lot of people believe in that as well. And I want people to understand something. Magic always trumps the mundane, and people do participate in mundane things to try to do harm to people. What is interesting is that your life being kind of pre-plotted or pre-planned is actually a mixture of the mundane and magical. So what I've noticed throughout the years is that when it comes to magic, magic actually brings forward the truth and life. Because a lot of the things that people go through, people already pre-plot and pre-plan. And it's kind of already laid out for you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you are a woman that has children out of wedlock, it is a very mundane but evil thing that society does, which is label your children as lower class and as bastards, okay? However, there is a very powerful magical force that secures that these children are not just slaughtered, because technically, that is how people see it. They see you as lower than if you are born out of wedlock, which marriage and weddings are a man-made concept. It has nothing to do with, nature or real life. Okay, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, you can ask questions, but let me get through this discussion. Okay, about the magic versus mundane. Okay. Now, people can actually ruin their life doing mundane things, okay? Something that is considered to be mundane is a person spreading a rumor about you. That's not magical, okay? A man discriminating against you because you're a woman. That's not magical. There's nothing magical or spiritual about that. Even though we are taught that that's normal and that's the way that men are supposed to be normally because they are men. And I think that religion definitely teaches that a lot. That's still considered to be mundane. Okay, it is. It's still considered to be mundane. In particular, somebody spreading a rumor about you, or even somebody saying something mean to you, or, saying something to you that is not the truth. Now, in magic, if something is said repeatedly, which is what a lot of people will do, that could carry some kind of magic, in particular if it is something negative that is being repeated over and over again. Again, energy work and magic and witchcraft trumps those mundane activities. Okay. Um, there is nothing magical about a man destroying a woman's reputation or trying to thrust his manliness or supposed toxic masculinity onto her. There's nothing magical about that. In fact, it kind of binds up magic. It's and healing and miracles. It actually goes against magic. So there's no miracle that's happening there. What that is that is the mundane activities of a man, okay? And so a lot of people need to accept this and understand this, that there is a difference between that and someone that performs either necromancy, black magic, alchemy, or either what they call white magic, okay? There is a difference between the two, okay? So, for example, there are a lot of people that, especially men, they think that there's power in calling a woman a bitch, right? A lot of men believe that. They truly believe that they have power by doing that. In reality, witchcraft and magic trumps that, because all of a sudden, if a man calls you a bitch or a hoe, all of a sudden your value is supposed to be lowered, and you're supposed to be lowered, and you're supposed to be looked at a certain way due to the disgusting, repulsive behavior of another. Okay. And what magic is going to do is magic is going to highlight and expose the fact that that man that is doing that is actually the bitch. It is actually extremely effeminate. It is actually extremely weak for a man to pick an argument with a woman. It's actually extremely weak for, and we see people doing stuff like that all the time. We see people, in particular men, but women do it too. We see them bullying, trying to abuse women and children. That's a mundane activity of someone who wants to feel dominant and they want to feel power. Same thing as rape. Rape is mundane. It's a very traumatizing, mundane act, but there's nothing spiritual about rape. Nothing. It can lead to spiritual damage. It can lead to a lot of problems, but it's nothing magical about that. Okay, and I noticed that there are a lot of people that try to relate that to spiritual. People kind of have all sorts of ideas of that. To me, the Bible isn't even spiritual. There's nothing spiritual about the Bible to me. Okay. I look at it as mundane things that people have given power to. Okay. It's how I look at the Bible. That is because I am not a Christian, but I do think that the Bible does have some information in it that may help people have an understanding of evil and ignorance. But do I think that the Bible is is spiritual? Not really. I think that the most spiritual that you're going to get is your connection to nature as well as the cosmos. I think that that's how people have done it for so many years. Humans on this planet have factually polluted the air so much that it's kind of difficult to even see the stars, to even see the constellations, because the air is so polluted. But we can still see it, but it's very difficult. Whereas there was a time when you could see the stars very easily. Part of the reason why it's harder for us to see the stars and why we even need telescopes to see up there, well, planets that are far away, you definitely would need a telescope. But you would at least be able to see the stars or the light of those particular constellations. And it is because of smog and pollution and just people, and technology. Okay, so technology has done a lot of that, which I like technology. I have nothing against the technological world, but I think that there are certain things that, minor adjustments that we had to make with that. What I'm trying to get at is that, okay, for example, I'm going to give a very good example. For years, I've been getting stalked on this platform and harassed for 13 years. Okay? And never has it affected my income. In fact, I grew my business anyway, regardless. Okay? Um that is because when people do mundane things like stalk people, stalking is not spiritual. There is nothing spiritual about stalking. And a lot of people on this website have tried to make stalking seem spiritual. Now, if we're going to talk about monitoring spirits are not bad, especially if they're sent out by a witch with an intention to protect the innocent, not to protect a predator, not to protect somebody that's doing harm. I don't see it that way. I don't like criminals. I don't like predators. And so as a witch, I would never send out a monitoring spirit to protect a criminal, or to obstruct justice for the innocent. I would never do that. Never, ever, ever in my life. Gross. But there are some people that try to do it. A monitoring spirit that is monitoring a stalker definitely is a good thing, because you never know when that stalker is going to flip out and go postal and act a fool, because stalkers are very unstable people. Something wrong with stalkers. They're mentally ill, okay? However, for years, I never had issues with business when it came to stalkers. And that is because, number one, my business and myself is separate from everybody else. That, it would be different if we all worked for the same employer, but we don't. Okay. It wasn't until somebody was trying to curse my business, and they regret that now. They wanted to make the mundane crap affect my business. But in reality, and I want a lot of women to know this, a woman that is your enemy, a woman that to me is lower value, she totally understands that, even some of these witches, and they will try to cast spells to make mundane crap affect another woman or a man. Okay, stuff like that can be removed. Stuff like that can be reversed very easily and very quickly. So, it doesn't matter if it's a million of them. A lot of people will say, well, it's so many of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Y'all have to understand that magic trumps the mundane. And everybody would do themselves a service right now at this moment, including myself included. Okay. However, when I have to address something, I'm going to, because I'm the one being stalked, nobody else. Okay. If I need to address something, I'm going to address it. Also, there were smear campaigns. Um, people need to stop. People need to start ignoring stalkers. Stalkers are losers. Who cares about stalkers and trolls? Who cares? They don't deserve to get attention. But they've been getting a lot of attention. That's what they want, is attention. That's why they do things to get attention. Okay? And a lot of them even have the nerve to be misogynist. A lot of them have the nerve to be sexist. And a lot of them try to act like, because they are flexing supposedly their manhood. That's why they talk a lot about their penises and degrade women sexually. It's all powerless, mundane crap that society, if we're not careful, will be in big trouble. I've been warning people about this for years, to stop letting them get away with that. You know why? Guess what? What was it in 2022 when they banned abortion? Men telling women what to do with their bodies? Since when? And you know what? It was because a lot of people thought that they were doing the world a favor by doing that. Okay? Now, it's sick. It's sick. I want to talk to you guys about something called Durga. The other day I was thinking about Fulan Devai. Fulan Devai, rest in peace, who ended up actually becoming the president of India. Okay? She was married off. She was raised dirt poor, married off at the age of 11. Was raped by her husband. Was raped and violated by 30 to 40 men at the same time. There used to be a movie. There was a very graphic movie showing her struggle that they actually banned in America. They actually banned that movie. Unless you have a copy of it, nobody has it. So what she ended up doing after the rape is she ended up running into a gang, and she met her man, and yeah, they ended up killing her man. And so her and her man's gang went back to the town and murdered all of those high status men. And she ended up going to prison. But she's honored a lot in India. She's honored as Durga also. Durga is the triple goddess. Durga is the power and the energy. It's a power and it's an energy that protects women. Okay. So she was president of India until she was assassinated. Okay. So here's the point that I'm making with this, is that a lot of women do not bow down to misogynistic men. I'm warning women about that now. Misogyny is not man. That doesn't equal man. You know what misogyny means? Misogyny is not the same as sexism. It's not the same. Misogyny is hate for women. Misogyny is hate for the divine womb. Misogyny is also hate for children that come out of the women. So misogyny needs to be rejected. And y'all need to know that you are going to have to put yourself together if you have a man in your life. And I don't care about your men listening because they can't do anything to me. Okay? If you have a man in your life that is showing you that he's going to be a misogynist and that he hates you, get him out of your life now. I speak from personal experience. It only took me a few months to heal from my experience, but that is because I was consistently doing healings and protection and energy work the whole time. Y'all are taking in all of that hate and it is turning into disease in your body. It is causing you disease and it will tear you down and it will destroy your spirit. Okay? There's a lot of men out there. They hold meetings. It's some of them, they're even in secret societies. And what they do, some of them even craft their own magic or black magic, and they utilize the Bible with it as well. And what they do all day, every day, is abuse your spirit, which abuses the body. The body is not disconnected from the spirit. It is your mind, your body, and your spirit. They're all connected. And when I say body, I mean physical body. Okay? So, like for example, today, I woke up, my back was hurting and my neck was hurting. You know why? Because there are so many women that I am protecting. And there are a group of men right now that are abusing dolls and likenesses of you and photographs of you. And they're having these secret, sick meetings to where they're taking photographs of women and children to shooting ranges. And they're shooting the picture with an intention. They're abusing your spirit. Understand that. And see, this is the reason why a religious man has to explain himself. He has to say, hey, I am humble. I am good. Okay? He had when a man is thumping a Bible at you, talking about Leviticus and all that stuff, throw him in the garbage. Throw him away. He's useless, he's pointless, and he's going to destroy your life. And you know what? A lot of people will take it for granted. But I have seen a lot of broken women, and there are a lot of people that will back him up. It's mundane. It has no power. You have the power inside of you. It's just been binded. It's been oppressed. You never, ever, 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 ever bow down to a man that is abusing you. Now, if he getting ready to kill you or you're in a situation like that, then obviously you want to, just say, okay, I'm not going to say anything. But a man that's, let's say, like, just he's calling you or something, or he's in social media and he's talking shit, he's a bitch. He's a bitch. He's a sissy. He's a sissy. Fuck him. Stop letting their words fucking cut you down and hurt you. Don't listen to him. Why are you listening to him? Any of these males that are in social media abusing women, okay, this is just like a narcissist. If a narc sits there and has 4 or 5 children, okay, and the narc is treating 4 of the children correctly but abusing 1 of them. How many of y'all that have grown up with abusive narcissistic parents have felt abused yourself by seeing your sibling get abused, unless you were taught to hate that sibling too? You're being abused too. Same thing if you got a man that is a sick polygamist. Okay, we don't do polygamy. That's sick. That's sick. Okay, and a lot of them will come up with this crap. Polygamy is sick. Okay, he's got 4 wives. I'm sorry, I've got to say it because that's imbalanced. That's not balanced, hun. Okay, so he's got 4 wives. 3 of them he treats very well, and the 4th one he beats her and abuses her. See what I'm saying? So everybody is being hurt by that. I couldn't, and this is what we got a lot of people that are sick. You're sick to sit there and listen to a man abuse a woman. And that's why I come on here and I abuse them and call them bitches, because that's what they are, okay? They say, oh, don't fight fire with fire. I'm going to fight fire with fire. I'm going to keep fighting fire with fire. Okay, it just is what it is. I'm a witch, okay? All right. So, a lot of people were standing witness while a misogynistic, fucking effeminate male attacking a woman, saying all kinds of disgusting things to her. This is what you people do. And you know what? What are you doing for yourselves? You're doing nothing for yourselves. You aren't. Okay? Why is that funny? Why is that entertainment? What's wrong with you? Are you trying to work something out? Are you trying to deal with something from your childhood? What, you got some anger? Okay? So understand that this is sick. The things that we have been seeing is sick, especially some of y'all that are a part of these red pill groups of these sissified men who can't stand up to another man. In fact, he's a sissy type of man. He's a sissy boy, and he's going to try to fight a woman, and that's ridiculous. And so people will say, well, he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, but he can't do that under the guise of stalking and harassing people. You know what I'm saying? In a civilized society, if somebody says, hey, don't say anything to me, a man should walk away. He should shut up talking about that woman. Okay, even in social media. I don't know why people are not standing with these standards. As long as they are here doing what they're doing, you can rest assured that Jamila's going to be doing some magic and black magic on them. And I am going to come on here and call them bitches. And I'm not going to stop. Okay? Now, a lot of people in social media are very sensitive to that. Like I was talking about earlier, for some reason, I'm not in the same house with the person, never lived with the person, have no connection with the person, but for some reason, people want to have a fantasy that this person is abusing me. I can assure you that I would never let a man abuse me. He would be pulling back a damn nub. Okay? Women, get yourself in self-defense classes. Get yourself in self-defense classes. A lot of these men need self-defense classes. A lot of the men, a lot of young boys need that. They used to take boys to go do karate classes. That's so good for boys because it teaches you how to defend yourself. There's a lot of maniacal, maniac ass men out there, y'all. You have to understand that it's kind of been at its peak during the summer, okay? Because some of them believe that they're doing sacrifices and things of that nature, which is why a lot of these kids are coming up dead. But it's gonna peak itself again in the winter time. So if for some reason the incidences and the spirit of misogyny, it keeps peaking, and a lot of people are responding by either bowing down or becoming afraid. Stop it. Stop it. Those men are stupid. Would you follow a man that's getting ready to jump off of a bridge? It's the same saying. What did your mother tell you? She said, if all of your friends jumped off of a bridge, you're going to do it with them. Same difference. No man or woman should follow a man that's behaving that way. Should walk away from him. He's dangerous. He's creating sickness, and he's probably got. He can pretend that he cares about other people, but he's a very selfish, diabolical person that, the earth is trying to destroy them. This is the reason why I don't hold back when it comes to them. I don't hold back. You are dangerous. You are creating sickness. You are creating cancers within people. You are creating chaos, and you're harmful to women and their children. And men like that will be dealt with on a daily. And they can't mess with magic. They can come on here and go, oh, you bitch, you hoe, you this, and run their mouth. Listen, Listen, exactly, Nadine. They're destroying themselves. You can come on here and you can say that all that you want, but magic is going to always trump them. It is. And that's why they're so against witchcraft. They're not really against witchcraft because it's evil. Witchcraft has been very useful for women. Trust me, there would literally be generations of women lost. Women have survived these. I don't know why they think being a toxic male is somehow being a man. Okay, I don't know how. I don't know why they think that. They just do. Okay, magic will always trump them, no matter what it is that they're trying to do. No matter what it is. And it's important for the world. The world should cancel all men like that. Nobody nobody wants to hear that either. I can't, there's a lot of women that I cannot stand. There are a lot of women that have done me dirty, threatened my children, done me wrong. You know what? I don't have to make it a spectator sport to hear somebody talking crazy about them. If I'm going to handle a female, I'm going to handle her at my altar. I'm not going to be sitting up here. I don't agree with that. And I think that a lot of this stuff, a lot of y'all need to be careful with that, okay? Now, I'm not saying that men can't defend themselves if a woman is just attacking them, okay? Okay, men do, but come on. Come on. How many times have we seen that a lot of times these men are attacking women unprovoked? Okay, they are. They're attacking women, innocent women, unprovoked. Okay, there are a lot of women that love to see war. They'll be setting up fights and stuff. You need to fight this person. Y'all need to fight, fight, fight. But, there's a lot of women that are not like that. Like, my significant other, he'll never have to get out in the streets and fight over me. For what? I'm his. He doesn't have to fight anybody over me. Okay, and I don't do things like that. I handle it at my altar. Okay, so, okay, any situation, sometimes magic has put a lot of you guys, especially in particular black magic, has put a lot of you guys in situations that you don't like. It's created a reality for you that you don't like. Well, understand that all of those things that you hear them talking about, reality frequencies, all of that is a part of magic and witchery. Okay? So we are very keen on reality shifting. It can be hard. I've been doing it for years. I didn't even realize that that's exactly what it was when I was doing it, because I would wonder why, it would be kind of hard. It would be kind of scary. It would feel like I was kind of being zipped through a tunnel at a high speed. You know what I'm saying? Your magic, what it's going to do is it's going to reveal, right, your true path that you want. It's going to reveal it. And then also, like, certain things that have been set up, false marriages. A lot of you ladies and a lot of you men are in these false marriages that you can't get out of. Magic will help with that. It's actually very healing. Okay? A lot of people, when they think about magic, they always think about curses. Well, guess what? Magic also breaks curses. I saw somebody, I couldn't believe it. I saw somebody in a chat room, and it was so funny. They made the statement, you can't break curses with witchcraft. You just have to pray. That was so hilarious to me. Excuse me, hon. Witches have been breaking curses for billions of years. What are you talking about? Like, people say all sorts of things because they just don't know, okay? They have no idea. Magic has been forbidden by magic. And that's the reason why a lot of you new practitioners, when you start calling the quarters, air, fire, water, and earth, they already have someone waiting at the gateway for you because they don't want you practicing it. Why? Which you have every right to do it. Why they don't want you to practice it is because they already have a plan for you. If you're a woman and you're in your mid to even early 40s, late 40s, their plan for you is to be single and alone the rest of your life. I do too, love Lilith 666. Hello. I hate red pill losers. Yeah, they are so disconnected from nature. Uh, that's what they want for you, and they're gonna push and push and push and tell you that, even if you're in your 60s, you can find love. Even if you're in your 70s, people find love at all ages. There are some people that don't find the love of their life until they're in their 50s. They're trying to push the program to you. You don't believe them. That's mundane thinking. It is. It's mundane. You guys have gotten trapped into that to where there's no miracles. You're aging like spoiled milk. Your muscles have went to atrophy, and that's because they're feeding on you. Okay? So this is one of the reasons why I am so heavily hated, and I wear my scarlet letter proudly because I'm in very good company and I'm protected with what I do, not necessarily by a man, but many a conglomerate of spirits protect me and my loved ones, because the things that they have done is a violation. It's an earthly violation, the way that they have people set up on this program. Okay? And when you see people that are like that, what do? Hurt people want to hurt other people. So, for example, if you've got a misogynistic man or even an evil female that's telling you, "Oh, you're old and you're ugly and nobody's ever gonna love you and want you," guess what? Magic is gonna reveal that person that's gonna love you. They're not gonna see all of that. They're gonna just love you. They're gonna just love you. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to say things like, "Oh, babe, you look good for your age." They're not going to say things like that. They're just going to love you. And you guys have got to believe in that. If it was meant for you to love somebody 15, 13 years ago, and because of this bull crap that they've done, and it's been a delay in you meeting that person, then guess what? Now you know them. Now you know. Now you can be happy. All the rest of your days, you'll be happy with that person. End of story. Nobody has the right to say, "Well, I am of an opinion that, I want a 13-year-old girl." Those men are pedophiles, okay? They are. They're pedophiles. They can't be attracted to, and they're not meant to be with anybody. I honestly believe that pedophiles, those are people, unfortunately, that were most of them have a destiny to hurt children. That's it. And to hurt people and to cause devastation and trauma to people. It's probably not meant for them to love, okay? They probably don't even have a person. I believe in true love. And I believe that there is somebody out there for everybody. Okay, so stop listening to, don't, and when a man, let me tell you something. When a man starts talking about a woman and he starts talking about her saggy titties, he starts saying that she's wrinkled, know that that is not a man that you should listen to. Guess what he's doing? He's taking your essence. He's pulling from you. Probably to sustain his own parasitic life. Because why would he need to say that? Why would he need to say that? At all. What difference would it make? And really, to be honest with you, we shouldn't be responding to them in that way. But the reason why you respond is because you're taking back your power. But you know what? Live life. I showed you guys my stone mounds with feathers. You know what I'm saying? Live life. Stop wasting your time. Life is meant to be lived. It's not meant for you to continue to commune with these miserable losers out here. They're losers. You are so much better than that. You are so much better than that. Okay. Now a little jokey joke every now and then, teasing or whatever, just a little. But when something like if it progresses very quickly to where he is demeaning you, trying to violate you, that is a mundane man's way of hurting you. He's a muggle. He's not special like you are. He's not. All women are special. All girls are special. All boys are special. Okay. But I'm a woman, so I'm going to venture out to say that all women are special. We are God's gift to these men. They should be appreciative of us. Just like we show them appreciation, they should show us appreciation. And there should never be any disrespect between you and the one that you are with. Stop accepting that you don't belong with that person. You don't. No woman, I mean, unless it's a woman that feels bad about herself, has low self esteem, you want to hear somebody talking about another woman. I personally am totally and 1,000,000% in love with my significant other. I've never heard him say anything demeaning about a woman. In fact, everything that I've heard him say, including his mother, has been uplifting. Has been uplifting. So that, guys, and they don't have to do it. That's not something that's just built into men. Oh, he's a man, that's just how he is. Okay. No, it's not. And it is a such thing as mundane magic. Okay, let's talk about mundane magic, which is very weak. Okay, this is where someone keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. I mean, hell, early on, well, sometimes I still write phrases 5 times, 6 times, 10 times. Okay, mundane magic. What is that? What is mundane magic? And that is what a lot of these people are utilizing. It's the practice of turning everyday chores and boring routines into mindful, intentional rituals. Okay, it bridges the ordinary and the extraordinary by reframing tasks like sweeping, laundry, or doing dishes as meditative acts of self-care, focus, and enchantment. Okay. Hold on, let me see. I want to find what I'm talking about. Let me look for mundane black magic or baneful magic. I don't mind calling it black magic. I don't see it as, a lot of people say that it's okay. Hold on. So far, what I've found is a lot of things that are positive about mundane magic, which, it really is. However, when you have someone that, like I said, is, every single day, I'll bring up a perfect example. Perfect example. Did y'all ever see that video of that drunk pastor that he would be drunk during his sermons and he would verbally abuse his wife in front of the congregation? Have y'all ever seen that? He would just abuse her in front of everybody. And anybody, like, for example, when I come on here and I stand up to these guys that is considered, this is mundane. Me discussing it is mundane. Okay, although there's a lot of magic behind it. There's a lot of intention behind what I'm talking about right now. Because I want you guys to not be scared and just accept that as an inevitability. Okay. And yeah, it is a huge push. It is a huge, huge thing. And they don't care. They are on a witch hunt. And I have been getting hunted for years because I am a witch. Okay. And they don't like it. They don't. Now why do they think that I need to lay down and just let them kill me? I guess they're shocked that I don't want to die, that I'm not going to let them kill me. It's very weird. I don't know why so many people want me dead. It's really weird. But it's okay. I can deal with it because I have much more love from the world than hate. There's a lot of people that actually love me and they want to see me here, okay? But you know, it's especially in social media. When you get a group of guys and then you got women that are accepting of it, and they're just sitting around talking and they're lying and they're going on and on psychobabble about this and that, that can be considered mundane magic, especially when they're repeating something over and over again repetitively. It is because they want it to become a thought form or a pattern is what they want. So if you've got something going on like that, what you're going to be dealing with is you're going to be fighting with not only powers of the tongue, which is why they love religion, okay? Because apparently there is some kind of energy that gives them powers of the tongue to try to hurt people. And you're fighting with a thought form, okay? And then also a little bit of psychic power. Now, when you get a psychic that is doing mundane things, this is when you gotta watch out. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. A witch is not necessarily a psychic, and a psychic is not necessarily a witch. You can be a psychic witch, in my opinion. In my opinion, having an intuition is something that is a mundane thing. Being a psychic is somewhat mundane. Magic trumps psychic attacks, okay? That's what a psychic attack is. A psychic attack can either come from one or many, right? They're all thinking the same thing. They're all saying the same thing. It's a meeting of the mind. All of that energy is being directed towards that one person. And guess what's going to trump it is magic. Magic is going to protect you from it. And magic is going to actually, I've seen it backfire. I've seen it backfire. I've seen people that are bullying somebody and they keep bullying and bullying and bullying. And it can result in a lot of harm and bane for that person if you've got the proper protections put up. If you've got people talking about you, you have to protect yourself. You have to do wards. But then again, also you have to go deeper because listen, those people know the days and the times that are going to be at the strongest, okay? And so everybody's schedule is different. As far as these repeated patterns and cycles that magic is going to break, okay? So just keep that in mind when it comes to that. They're going to try it. Don't buy it. There is no real power in that. Now, if they are directing this towards you and you have done nothing about it, then yeah, energetically, that's going to hurt you because people have, it forms something when people speak. They say something over and over again and they're thinking it together. They're thinking it. I want to hurt this person. I want to be right. I want to do, especially if you negate away from what they think is norm, even if they didn't do it. Okay, you didn't graduate high school, go to college, for example. I know I didn't go to college. I graduated from high school, but I didn't go to college. And so everybody thinks that you're just going to be broke for the rest of your life because you don't have a college degree. And they're going to say it over and over again. Well, she's not educated, this and that. You know what? Some of the richest people in this world did not go to college for whatever reason, and they're some of the most well-off people that are very set financially. So going to college doesn't always do that. But if somebody is obsessed with that, they're going to be amongst a group and they're talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Something has to protect you from that. It's either going to be an ancestor. It can affect you even if you don't hear it. And then let's face it, it just depends on what kind of family you come from. If you come from a situation to where it's just very negative, or if somebody sets you up as the scapegoat, magic is going to trump all of that. And honestly, I don't see how anybody else survives. I don't see how people survive outside of that. I personally don't. Maybe it's because I'm a witch. I guess it would depend on what you're dealing with. Okay. Then you guys have to be careful. A lot of these males, they want to own you. They want to bind you up. They think all they got to do is come and say your name and, oh, you're nothing and I am a man. Guess what? Magic trumps that. I'm not going to tell you exactly what we do for that, but that's not going to work out for them. Okay, I've been in social media for upwards of 20 years since YouTube first started. And so I know when I started my tarot channel, oh, goodness gracious. Men, there are a lot of men that they just look, there's a lot of women that are like that. They just look at other women like they're nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's very weird. It really is. And I think you guys better pay attention to that. Okay? Pay attention to that. Y'all need to, and it's not that you have to be alone. You don't have to be a feminist. You don't have to do any of that. Okay? Just call it out and deal with it. Okay? I warned you guys about that. Black women ignored, in particular black women all but ignored the new abortion laws, the ban on abortion. And guess what? All I've seen is black women going to prison, left and right, going to jail for abortions. It was in 2022 when Roe versus Wade was overturned. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's child sacrifice. I'm against that. I am against child sacrifice. I don't like it. However, it should not be a man's choice. Women should never allow a group of politicians to make decisions for their bodies. That's a problem. Okay, that is a problem. Okay, I don't know if they've updated it yet. Hold on. I think that okay, let me look here. I think that I live in a state, I've never gotten an abortion, nor would I ever. But I think I live in a state where abortion is actually legal. I don't see Missouri, because I live in Missouri, guys. I don't see Missouri as, hold on a minute. Let me see. Yeah, we're 13 states. Alabama, Arkansas, Idaho, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia. Okay. There's some that include narrow exceptions for rape, incest, or fatal fetal anomalies. Okay. Um, I still think here's what I want to tell you. Women need to be careful with that because it consistently since 2022, women have been getting plundered by misogynistic men, plundered, plowed. That I mean, why did it result in them getting more assholey? Why did they become even bigger assholes since then? Oh, we get to tell you what to do with your body. And no, I'm not a feminist. I'm not. But come on now. Men do not understand the needs of a woman. They don't. And I was also saying how sanitary napkins should be free, birth control should be free as well. So there's a lot of things that need to be worked on. The last thing that anybody should be doing is supporting, and I do think that they put enchantments around themselves and so that people can conform and be attracted to that. It is the worst thing ever. The world needs to do away with that. It is evil. It is diabolical. It is awful. It is death. It is destruction. Okay? For any man to feel like no man should ever feel comfortable in being disrespectful to a woman. No man. And then expecting her to just like bow down. I'm not talking about a man just saying how he feels in a non-abusive manner. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying somebody that's blatantly disrespectful, and because if I'm cussing you out, that means that you did that. I'm not some crazy person. If I cuss a man out, if I cuss up a storm, he had to have done something. I'm not doing that for nothing. And I feel threatened by him. And there's no woman that should feel threatened by a man. There's no woman should ever feel that her children are endangered by any man. That's not a man, that's a predator. Okay? I want to look up laws of social media discrimination of women. We have a class action lawsuit against websites like Facebook and YouTube. We actually do. Okay, social media discrimination against women is governed by a combination of civil rights protections, online privacy regulations, and platform specific content moderation policies. Protections vary by jurisdiction, but generally address harassment, intimate image abuse, and algorithm I can't say this word right. Algorithmic bias, okay? So there are regulations surrounding that they are not enforcing. So what good is having a law if it's not being enforced? So there's a federal privacy and image abuse in the United States. The Take It Down Act, enacted in 2025, specifically criminalizes the non-consensual publication of intimate images and digital deep fakes. It also requires covered social media platforms to implement strict notice and removal processes for such content. Okay. Also, the International Human Rights and Digital Violence bodies like the UN and the Inter-American Commission of Women recognize online misogyny, deep fakes, and gender-based hate speech as a human rights violation. Organizations utilize frameworks like the Inter-American Model Law on Gender-Based Digital Violence to help states classify and punish online gender discrimination. Okay? Civil rights laws. Okay, so obviously there's civil rights laws against that. And then platform content moderation. Because the First Amendment and global free speech laws typically limit direct state control of private cyberspace, the immediate enforcement of anti-discrimination against users relies on community guidelines. However, studies note that algorithmic politics and moderation double standards can often unintentionally disadvantage women and marginalized groups. So we all know this, right? We're all very aware of this. Oh, trust me, I am. So let's talk about it. A lot of people will say, oh, don't respond to them and da da da. It's actually a part of our social security to defend ourselves. So nobody should just let somebody bully them, okay? But what I will tell you is that what they are doing is different from when you are defending yourself. Because I was put to shame when my children were threatened. I was put to shame, and they gaslighted me when I came on here and I threw a demonic fit. I did. I basically threw a demonic fit, okay, to let people know don't play with me. And they still wanted to play, so we can play. Let's play, okay? But bottom line is that if they were not there doing that, never would have happened. Never would have been for that. And then society tends to judge the woman. Society tends to judge the woman, not the man or these groups that are doing that. It's a shame, but it's the truth. Okay, and that's something that has to stop, because I, for one, respect a woman that comes on here and says respectfully, I'm running a business. All those men are bitches that can get stitches. They're all cursed. Kiss my ass. If you want to say, oh, well, you have no class, fuck off then. Because it's ridiculous, the kind of gaslighting and the kind of games that people play. I am not on the side of that. I don't play around with women. I have a lot of respect for women. I don't play around with women like that. It's not funny. Okay? So we really need to band together. I am not for that. No, I'm not. I'd rather have peace. I'm going to go, you guys, in a minute here. I'm going to warm up the rest of my ribs and eat dinner and be peaceful. I like peace. That's how I am. You know what happens when you stay in the energy of peace? You have less health problems. You're safe. You're in a safe place. I can't help it, okay? There's no way that women should be out here at war with men. There should never be a war on women. I feel that when men attack women, whether or not it is on the streets or in social media, I feel like they should be locked up. I feel that it can have the same effect. Stalking on the internet, harassment day after day after day, doing smear campaigns, harassing a woman's children, that is considered to be domestic violence. And trust me, I had to explain to somebody that I have filed over 70 to 100 reports. I lost count of how many reports I have filed. And they get away with it. You know why they get away with it? They get away with it because of the egregore that is protecting men that do that. And it's so sad. It's so sad. And then I'm going to tell you something. By the time they doing all of that to where they turn the United States into a third world country, I'm going to take me and my loved ones and get up out of here, because I do not want to see that. When you in those third world countries, you hear horror stories. Women can't even call an ambulance and go to the hospital. I think it happened over in India. This woman literally just was trying to get to the hospital to get some medical attention, and they raped her to death in the ambulance. In the ambulance, a group of men, the paramedics raped her in the ambulance, and a lot of people are sick. They're like, ooh, no, no, curse them, and they're cursed. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That woman died. That woman died. I believe she died. She was trying to get medical attention. So y'all better pay attention. Please pay attention. You're going to walk out one day and it's going to be just like you're living in a third world country. You got the Christian nationals already doing it. And then you got the Muslims trying to take over. No, no, no. And these men have no right to do it. It's ridiculous. And y'all know it. Y'all gonna accept that stuff and you're gonna be distracted. You better stop being distracted. Next thing you know, they'll have a rule to where you can't get a job or get employment because you're not married. Or you can't get a job unless your husband approves of it. Y'all have got to stop them. Do we want those misogynistic men anyway? No, a man is not a man. No, we don't want men like that. No, we don't. We don't want men like that. In fact, we don't have to accept them. I don't know why people think, I don't know why y'all think it's slim pickings of men. You know how many single men, and God help them. God help a lot of the single men. They get hurt by men too. Men are always affecting other men. Okay? There's a lot of single men with jobs and working. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of them. Y'all just don't see them because the ones that are like that are taking up all the attention. And then plus I do feel, honestly, going back to the spiritual stuff, which is totally out of this world and not mundane, I feel like that's another reality. I feel like that's another reality and somehow it merged and now everybody done lost their mind and we can't have that, okay? Why would you want to be in a relationship with somebody and you're claiming that is love and that person is disgusting? Ew. Ew. And why? Like, again, like I said, I understand a man that is defending himself because I've seen plenty of women that are just like, oh God, I don't like her. But I got attacked personally unprovoked. And when you are somebody like myself that is very peaceful, who do you think they're gunning for? I am a very peaceful person, very cordial person. That's the ones that they like to attack. That's why I turned into a complete devil, a she bitch, and I'll stay that way towards these men. I'm not going to change. It's not going to happen. It's that and you should never. You should never. In fact, we should boycott them all together. Just boycott them. They're not going to help you find no man. A lot of y'all looking for a man. What you looking for a man like that? Ew. That's one of the reasons why they online attacking women, because he's an abuser. He needs somebody to take out his unresolved anger issues on instead of him working out his anger issues amongst himself or either talking to God or something. Oh, hell, he can even be Christian. People respond to Christianity differently. Okay? There are a lot of men that they are Christian, and you know what? They work with God on their issues and they're good. A lot of these diabolical ones, they supposedly have wives and she's like, well, go ahead and do that because you done abused me for years and I need for you to take this anger out on somebody. It's ridiculous that we need to throw them out of social media. They need to be gone. They need to be gone. They're taking up airspace. No one cares about what they're talking about. Okay. If somebody wants to see that kind of content, go back to the dark web. Yuck. Yuck. I don't like it. It seemed like they came from the dark web, don't it? Also, another thing I want y'all to know, you know what? I'm not going to get into it in this discussion. I'll come back and give y'all a little tidbit tip about certain folks on here that is very important. We will pin cushion that discussion. Um, but yeah, I wanted to come and talk to you guys about this. Thank you so much for those of you that came to the chat and supported. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Nadine, Tanya, Love Lilith 666. Shout out to you and Vampires of Tomorrow. Okay, I appreciate you guys being here. Y'all have a wonderful evening. And we do have a game plan. Okay, it's not like, I understand because a lot of people are like, oh my God, it used to didn't affect me. It's time to do something about it. Okay. So we've got a game plan on men like that. We do. Okay. And there's several options that you have, but I think that there are somewhat like several things that possibly need to be done. So you guys are welcome to schedule with me and I can give you guys tips and pointers, especially if you're dealing with some jackass on your job. Like I said, a lot of you guys can't really practice your own witchcraft, and that is because you got some house cleaning to do. But they will make you lose your job. They will. They hate you. They hate that they even have to work around women. A lot of them are secretly, gay, but that shouldn't impact anybody professionally. That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. I've always been a professional person that actually doesn't take my personal life to work with me. And people, when you're a business owner, people do all kinds of weird things to because they have a mundane intention to make something happen. But it pales in comparison to magic. Magic is supreme, no matter who's doing it. Okay, especially if they're doing it right. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I will see you guys later. Okay. Blessings to y'all. Thank you. Thank you to y'all. Bye bye.